What is up, YouTube? Pork Store coming at you with a new series that we're working on, and we're going to try and do some more of, and that's tier lists. Tier lists, have been really big, and they're pretty entertaining, fun to do. So I think that to start it off, I should be doing something that I love, something that obviously I'm pretty big and have some knowledge in, some One Piece. So let's get into it. We're going arcs, One Piece arcs. To start, we got East Blue. East Blue, you get that basic, you get the background of everything, the basic background of everyone. You meet the first half of the crew, you meet some villains, some Navy admirals, you get to go to the place of Roger's death, which I think is pretty dope, but I still think this is about C. It's a lower end, not a lot of action, not a lot going on, but still really good for the story. Into the Grand Line, we got Drum Island. It's kind of the first one that we get to after Whiskey Peak and finding out about Baroque Works and that sort of thing. Princess Vivi. Not a lot really happens. Get another crew member. Nami gets sick. You see Luffy being absolute badass, going upstairs, and the new crew member, Chopper, best doctor in the world, and emergency food. But I think this one's about a C as well. Nothing too exciting. Wapple's just Wapple, and nothing too special other than getting a crew, get a sighting of Ace. But then you move into the Baroque Works. This is where we get to Alabasta and Little Green with Broggy and Groggy. I might have said that wrong, but that's alright. And you really get to see the fight for Alabasta first. You get to see your first warlord and Crocodile, who has an awakened devil fruit, he states, and Luffy kicks his ass, and then you have some really powerful moments for the country itself. I rank this one about a B. I think it is really good, but it's not quite as good as some of these other arcs, and you get to see Luffy's tendency and how Oda kind of writes these fights of Luffy loses once, Luffy loses twice, and again, but then in the end ends up coming out on top with a new move of some sort that overpowers and gets them the win. Next up, we go to the sky, leave from Jaya, meet Bellemere, punch Bellemere once, put his ass on the ground. The bounties start to go up, start to rise, and people like to say that Skypiea is like a filler arc. It's not really important, but it's hella important. It's really big and plays a large part, and is gonna play an even larger part coming on here in the most recent arc of Wano. But the arc itself isn't super duper special, as in the fights and everything else. Badass moment from Sanji. But I rank this one about a B. And then we come down from the sky and we get to this piece of Fox. I don't even need to talk about it very long. Those of you who watch One Piece, or if you even see the design of this character, you know that this is going to be a D. Some funny moments in there between Sanji and Zoro, between Chopper, everyone, sort of just like a calm down arc from everything else that has happened. And then we move into Water 7, which is one of the greatest arcs that they've had. So much action, so much backstory about different characters and different things. You get Frankie, you get Robin, you get to meet Tom, the greatest shipwright of all time. You meet CP0, Rob Lucci, Kiku, all the Spondum, and there's just constant action and incredible, friendship. Moving on from that, Water 7, they go to Thriller Bark, which is a cool arc because of the Floridian Triangle and Gecko Moria, the next warlord that you meet, and then also Kuma. You get to meet Kuma for the first time. You get that badass scene with Zoro at the end, and you get another crewmate in Brook. This, however, I put about a B. It's not super special. The fight at the end against Oars is touch and go, but you get to see the entire crew working together. Next up, you got Sabaody. You get all the supernovas together just before the time skip. Kuma, Rayleigh. You get to see all the nitty, gross backside of the Celestial Dragons, and it's really impactful. This one's an A for me, just because of how much is in it. But you also get to see Luffy, Law, and Kid fight together, which is pretty badass if you ask me. Next up, you have the biggest war so far in the story, and that is the Summit War with Whitebeard against the Navy trying to save Ace. This is a crazy cool one. Lots of fights, lots of different people in there, all 7 warlords. Mihawk, you get to be Jinbei in the jail leading up and from Impel Down. This obviously is S tier. And then after this, you get the 2-year time skip. Rayleigh trains Luffy, and everyone else gets their individual trainings and development over those 2 years and meet back up. Sabaody, quick little Rayleigh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the Pirate King. And then we move on to Fishman Island. Fishman Island is just kind of like a big flex, showing off how strong the Straw Hat crew has gotten and where they are now, which is dope, but it's just not a lot going on because Horty is a glorified Arlong and kind of being back. Just gonna say it. So I put this one above C. It's not as cool, not as good, but it still has some good parts to it. And then once you come up, you have Punk Hazard, and you get to see my man, Trafalgar Law again, and you get the Alliance, and you get to see Caesar, you get the Doflamingo backstory, Smoker's there, a lot of different moving parts, and I rate this about a B, because the action is good, and the pace and momentum of all of it is really decent, but it's not quite as good as Sabaody. And then you got Dressrosa. This one is a masterpiece. Doflamingo and his entire crew. You get Law's backstory. You get to meet another admiral. Sengoku comes back. Lots of fights, lots of backstory there. Easily an A. Easily an A. And then moving on, we got Zao, which is kind of like a little filler arc, but it kind of transitions really well out of Dressrosa and gives a good connection to the upcoming and most recent one of Wano and the Minx tribe and their connection with the Kozuku clan. But overall, I think this one's about a C. Nothing too special, nothing too crazy happens, but it is pretty good. Then we jump up to Whole Cake, Big Mom, Katakuri. You get to see Beje and his plan to take down Big Mom. It fails, and then you get one of the greatest fights that Luffy has had so far, his fight against Katakuri. The Conquerors clash was incredible, knocking everyone out, and the Germa and Sanji's background there. Sanji against Luffy, easily an A tier arc. And then you go to the Rivera, which is good because it gives you background. You get to see Kobe, you get to see Vivi, you get to see a little bit here and there, and something really big gets discussed. You get some Revolutionary Army, but there's not a lot to it outside of that. So I only put this about a C. I wouldn't go much higher than a C. It's lean closer to a D because of how much there is. And then the most recent one and the top one right now, Wano. It's still going. It's in year 3, working towards year 4. I don't even know what's gonna happen next. And you get to see Odin's backstory. You get to see some Roger and Rayleigh clips and young Whitebeard. Honestly, S. Easily S. So this is my tier list for the One Piece arcs so far. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and thanks for hanging out.